The Winchester 1897 was one of the most notable shotguns used by the American military. Dubbed the trench gun, it was apparently so effective that the German military complained that the shotgun caused unnecessary suffering. The Americans carefully considered the Germans' legal challenge and feelings. They promptly told the Germans to go pound sand. Thus, the Winchester 1897 remained in military service and eventually saw law enforcement use as well. Why am I telling you this? Well, there seems to be a notion that shotguns are completely obsolete and have no place as a modern practical firearm. And while it's true they aren't the one-size-fits-all solution certain individuals would have you believe, they definitely have their place among modern firearms. Unfortunately, there's a bug right now in Ready or Not where the Winchester 1897 does not exist in the game. If the devs could fix that, that'd be great. What we do have is a very capable pump-action shotgun in the game, the Remington 870. So in memory of the statement, the American military to the Germans will be using the shotguns on the criminal element. First, let's go over attachments. A flashlight is a given. Since the last updates, some of the maps have gotten even darker than before. Some of you may think I won't use a red dot, because the Americans of World War I didn't use red dots. Well, if red dots were available to the Americans during that time, they'd probably use them too. So in that spirit, we'll be using one as well. The advantages of a shotgun are numerous. The most dramatic one is how violent they are.
Shotguns will physically remove a chunk of shit off your opponent.
Aimed well, a single round of buckshot will be very ballistically capable. This brings up an important point about shotguns. You have to aim them. Even though they shoot a spread of pellets, they usually must point them in the right direction. You can, and will, still miss with the shotgun in close range. Another advantage of pump shotguns specifically is that you can switch between different types of shells on the fly.
Like that's going to put them down hard. Doing that with a handgun at 100 yards, fire 8 shots, or do a quick slug changeover, and well, you did that in like 2 seconds.
This is a big advantage, particularly in law enforcement, where you could theoretically switch from less lethal to lethal rounds and vice versa. That feature isn't in Ready or Not yet, though you can pick different pump shotguns with different rounds. There's a beanbag shotgun and a breaching shotgun. The beanbag shotgun shoots less lethal beanbag rounds. Self-explanatory, and works sometimes.
This is fucking bullshit.
Then, there's the breaching shotgun. Simply put, another pump shotgun, but loaded with breaching rounds. I haven't talked about it before, but some may have noticed. It's been a mainstay in all my Ready or Not videos.
Hello there.
The breaching shotgun is incredibly useful. It can be used to breach through almost every door, including locked doors. This lets you safely deal with booby traps. Some doors have tripwires that will set off explosives if you open the door. You can disarm the traps, but that requires you sit in front of a door for a few seconds. A breaching shotgun lets you safely open a door and spring the trap without being close to the door. Finally, shotguns with the right ammunition do not overpenetrate as much as handguns and rifles. 9mm handguns and 5.56 rifles will easily go through multiple walls. With the right load, shotguns will not penetrate as far. They still can, but it's a much lower risk. This helps a lot in Ready or Not, where all levels have civilians, and it can be difficult to consider what's behind your target in the middle of a gunfight. Shotguns, with specific loads, will give you the peace of mind to blast whatever you see without worrying about collateral damage. We are at a point where many gun owners will say that the AR-15 is the be-all and end-all of firearm ownership. They aren't entirely wrong. The AR-15 is light, accurate, and can be adapted for many purposes. But shotguns have their benefits. With different types of shells, they are arguably the most adaptable type of firearm. They also are incredibly effective when correctly applied in a defensive situation. The Winchester 1897 specifically is no longer in military service, but shotguns are still a mainstay in most militaries. There are two advantages of pump shotguns that don't apply in video games but are huge benefits in real life. They're inexpensive and are typically easier to access in most countries. Compared to an AR-15, a pump shotgun from a reputable brand will cost less. And even in countries where firearms are incorrectly legislated, pump shotguns are usually accessible and unmolested. Everyone who can should have a firearm. If the only thing they can get is a pump shotgun, it's a lot better than nothing.
When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah, we'll give him a hearty welcome then, hurrah, hurrah. Oh, the men will cheer, the boys will shout, the ladies they will all turn out and we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home.